Listen to me, man. We're finally at part 3 of our 3-part harmony, man. Living in 3-part harmony. Listen to me. Let's get this over with. I know you guys are so tired of listening to me talk, but you know what I mean? It's my duty as an educator in the guitar field. So anyway, man, we talked about part 1. We talked about part 2 back there, man. Can you see him, man? He's back there, man. H1230, one of them two. Now let's talk about this 1230, man. This is a 12-string, you know what I mean, Harmony branded guitar that looks just like a Stella from the 60s. That was 12-string, which is kind of a rarity. This one has extremely high action, brand new strings on it. I got it down to swap meet a little while back from this guy. I call him Skinny Cleveland, man. I don't know who the fuck he is, man. You know what I mean? He's always at the swap meet, sitting in his Lincoln Town Car, never talks to nobody. He's every now and then he's got some guitars. I always looked at his guitars, but I never bought a guitar. A couple times I asked him how much. He usually got pipe dreams about what a guitar's worth. He got like a Squire on the table. He's like, that's $727. I call him Little Cleveland. He looks just like Cleveland from the Family Guy, but he's like skinny, man. He's like skinny. He's got a mustache. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes he wears like a little hat, like a soul kind of hat. I don't know, man. So anyway, so Skinny Cleveland had this guitar on the table not too long ago, man. And I looked at it. And I was like, how much, man? He's like $50, man. It's like $50. That's not bad for Skinny Cleveland. There must be something wrong with it. So I kept walking around the market, you know what I'm saying? I come back to Skinny Cleveland and I still had $50 in my pocket. I'm like, you know what? I'll take a better look at it. And, you know, we got out of his car. You know, I knew he didn't want to get out of his car. You know what I'm saying? But, you know what I mean? I had to, you know what I mean, make the pitch to him. I was like, you take $30 on that, big man? He's like, no, man. He like insulted me, man. I got out my car for this shit, man. Fuck you, man. That's what you trying to aggravate me, man? I got sciatica, man. And I was like, nah, listen to me, man. I ain't trying to aggravate you, man. I'm just trying to barter with you, my brother. You know what I'm saying? Let's come to a price we can both endure. Then he's like, well, man. And he showed me that it's all fucked up. I'm gonna show you something, man. And don't get mad at Skinny Cleveland, because I'm the one who bought it, man. Look at this, man. See that, man? You see that? It's just been fucking crack right down the seam, man. Crack right down the seam, man. That's fucked up, man. And to be even worse, even more savage about it, it's like I think Skinny Cleveland did his own neck reset. And he like reset the neck in like a bad way. You know what I'm saying? In a way that it shouldn't have been reset, man. And I was like, oh, Skinny Cleveland, man. I'll give you $30 for that guitar, man. You know what I mean? I was like Rick Harrison with the motherfucker. You know what I'm saying, man? I got to get that shit framed, man. I got to have my expert come in and take a look at it, man. You know what I mean? I need some room to work. You know, he's like, all right, 35, white boy. I was like, all right, man. And I gave him the $35, man. And I walked away with it. You know what I'm saying? And this might be the last guitar project I ever do, man, because it looks like it's going to be frustrating. I like that shit, though, man. I'm a venturous soul, man. So let's flip you around, man. You know what I'm saying? Peace be with you. And we'll just take it light, man. You know, I dedicate this episode, the last part of 3-part harmony, to you, Skinny Cleveland, wherever you are, man. Peace be with you. Yo, this guitar's got Anison written all over it, man. There's a big headache, man. I don't even know why I'm bothering, man. Why would I even bother, man? Because it's got a full set of strings, man. Brand new set of strings put on there by our man, Skinny Cleveland, man. You know what I'm saying? So let's get our bearings on the guitar. See if we can get a good shot at the model number there. Looks like you can't really see it that well. Can you see it? Can you see it, people? It says 1230. And it says 69. You can barely see this, like a mahogany sort of back here. So, you know what I mean? The stamps aren't really easy to film. So it's a model 1230. It's got a S69 date on it. So let's do it, man. What we want to do is we want to take off the bridge basically and just store it with these new strings on it. You know, and this is interesting. Now this is a floating bridge. See that? It's like a. This is meant to be glued down. It's like a framing style bridge. You know what I'm saying? Like meant to be glued down, have like, you know what I mean, holes drilled through it for the strings. But they're using it as a floating bridge. This is an old Stella piece, and this is how they were doing it on the Harmony guitar. So this is sort of like a weird model, man. No, I've never seen another one of these. That's why I paid $35 for it. You know what I'm saying? It's usually a Stella with the tailpiece, and with this, it's usually a Harmony. Unusual, man. Unusual, man. And it's better to have a tailpiece on a 12 string because it won't pull the top off with all that tension. I want to do it, man. So we want to do two things, you know what I mean? We want to reset this neck because Skinny Cleveland apparently has used some kind of epoxy or something in there. This might be a joy getting this off. You see that, man? Can't imagine how, you know what I mean? You put strings on it, you know, think, oh, mission accomplished. Hey, man, my mission was accomplished. Then we got to get this off. So I figure we just sand this whole thing side down. I mean, restain it after we sand it down, and then pump some glue, if need be, back into this crack. You know what I'm saying? Then do a clear coat just on the side, man. Just on that crack, man. We got a lot of work to do on this fucking thing, man. What do you mean you talk about Skinny Cleveland like that? You mad about that? Listen to me, man. I read about the controversy, that Family Guy and Simpsons and all the Fox shows are replacing all their character actors with like real live, you know, black people or whatever. And I think the dude from the Quickie Mart Apu, he's going to be like a real live Indian dude. I think that's just stupid, man. You know what I'm saying, man? I got to, you know, when all the Muppets started dying off, I can't even adjust to the new voices of the Muppets, man. Just get sentimental, man. Who gives a shit, man? You know, it's actors, man. I haven't met one Cuban guy or one Puerto Rican guy that hated, you know what I mean, Al Pacino because he played Tony Montana or Carlito's Way. You know what I'm saying? Hey, man, Al Pacino, my man. He the greatest Puerto Rican actor of all time. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Just be proud of it, man. You know, it's a tribute. Don't be, you know what I mean, so sensitive, man. Oh, so let's get these strings off, man. Sorry, Vietnam, man. Oh! Let's get the strings off and take a better look, shall we? Or shall we not? Alright, so we got the strings taken off. Now, a little hint for you guys who are ever, you know, in the market of taking strings off a 12 string to save, you know what I mean, just take an old pack of, you know what I mean, envelopes from another set of strings, you know, empty ones. I mean, roll them up in pairs. You know what I'm saying? Keep them in order somewhere, because they're gonna get messy. See if we can get a better view of that stamp in there now that we got. Really, see, this says 1230. This is 69. Yeah, no, you see the S69 anyway. All flathead screws. You know what I mean? I don't really know what's holding on this neck. It's gonna be surprising. It's gonna be fun. Let's go bring it into the workshop, into the laboratory. See if we can't, you know, disconnect it. See if we can't denecticate it. See you in a moment. So we were able to pick out all that stuff that Skinny Cleveland put in those little crevices, the deficits, man. Looks like it was some kind of plastic wood. We used an X-Acto knife and a little piece of a saw here. All came out pretty quickly. But there's still left those gaping, you know what I mean, crevices. So we can try to work at the glue that remains. You know what I'm saying? It still seems kind of firm. So we just took a spray bottle, got water in that crack on both sides, and doused it. Put a little piece of plastic on there to keep it from evaporating. Every like hour or so, we'll just douse more in there. See if we can't do it this way. You know, we don't want to steam this guy, mess up the lacquer. Another little kind of way to do it, people. Let's try to denectify it. Nice to be with you. There we go, man. Finally got the neck off. Our man, Skinny Cleveland, reset this neck with Loctite spray foam and crazy glue. Water didn't do much, but the next day I sort of like, you know, started moving around like, what the hell's that sound, man? So we got it, man. We got it off. We had to break off this little part here that was crazy glued. You know, we were never going to be able to do anything with water on that. The water got into that Loctite foam. We were able to sort of, you know, move around a the little putty knife under here, and you know what I mean, sort of pulled it back in reverse. Loctite foam and crazy glue, people. Only you, Skinny Cleveland. So anyhow, there is a bit of a mess. I mean, there's a hairline crack going here, and it kind of continues along. It gets real bad around here. That's where he's put that. This seems to be like you know, sheetrock sealer. Where we put these tape pieces on the sheetrock and cover it with plaster, spackle, whatever. You know what I mean? Get rid of the crack. Looks like what he did there. Only put polyurethane, but it didn't stop the crack because it's continued to sort of go around and get a little bit deeper. So what we're going to want to do, is we're going to want to sand this off pretty much to the stain. You know, get this thing off however we can. You know what I mean? Go all the way around. Just this area, man. Just this middle section. To the stain, folks. I'll see you when that junk's been completed. Loctite and crazy glue. Can you believe that, folks? Alright, so quick change of plans. Before I sanded the sides, just wanted to fix that crack that's down here. So I kind of fucked it up a little worse, taking that neck off. And I want it to be totally even before I sand it. And it was kind of fucked up, you know what I mean? Whereas the crack down here, I can't even get at it yet, you know what I mean? This one I can get at. So I'm you know what I mean? Setting that one down. Got a little bit of wax paper. We got tight bond all tighted up there. You know what I'm saying? I fucked it up a little bit taking that neck off, man. It was a little He-Man job. But we'll be alright, man. We'll play this thing like ringing a bell. Folks, so I started to sand the sides here. And I just realized how hard this paint or whatever this guy put down here. It's very hard. Now, I sort of shifted my stance. When I first started doing this guitar, I figured I was going to restain this middle portion here. And now I'm sort of thinking I want to try to maintain as much of the original stain as possible. You know what I'm saying? So, that in mind, after I started sanding it, I saw how hard it was. So I came outside here, got some old paint striper, a brush and a little dish. I'm just paint this on here and just try to strip, you know what I mean, this off. You know what I mean? I'll scrape it off, see if I can. You know what I mean? Or maybe I'll just be left with the crack. You know what I'm saying? I can glue that crack together as good as I can. You know what I'm saying? Refinish the side. You know what I mean? Let's try to stripe that paint, man. Pour it in a little dish. Sop it on there. I'll see when we're, you know what I mean, set for about 20 minutes. Peace be with you. Alright, so it took like half of my life to get that damn, it's like a fiberglass tape being held on by some kind of epoxy, man. I had to use like high grade sandpaper for like flooring and scrapers and stuff, man. It's ugly, man. Not what I like. Not what I like to see, but I got most of it off. So I'm just going to go ahead and just strip the rest of the side of it off. I got it all masked on both sides so I don't get any stripper, you know, on the front of the back. Did pretty good in the first round. Let's try to finish this deal off. I'll see when we're all striped. End of a beautiful summer day. Another coat took that lacquer off this whole damn thing. Pretty much. And we took a wet rag and we just wiped off. You know what I mean? Just with water. All the rest of this shit after we scraped it. Just sitting in here in nice hot sun for about an hour. Just, you know what I mean? Bake all the activity. You know what I mean? Make sure there's no more activeness in that paint stripper. Leave that here, like I said, about an hour. In the late afternoon summer sun. See tomorrow in the basement when it's all dried out. So, we got it all sanded down. And I really examined those cracks, man. I think that epoxy that Skinny Cleveland put on there, you know what I'm saying? I think that really sealed the crack. But anyway, just to make, you know what I mean, matters a little bit crazier. You know what I'm saying? Because it is a 12 string and most of the tension is going to be right here. And I don't want this, you know what I mean, crack again. We're going to, you know what I mean, pump a little tight bond all along here. You know what I mean? Those other ones. There's one that comes up this way too. There's a couple of them, man. So we're just going to pump, you know what I mean, all of them full of these tight bond. Then we're going to sand it off again. You know what I'm saying? Lightly. Very lightly, like 150, 200. You know what I'm saying, people? Peace be with you. So we pumped in a whole bunch of glue with that suction cup. Cleaned off the side, took a little hair dryer. You know, gave it a little skin. Then we pumped a little bit more glue in on top of it. Took a piece of sandpaper, like a 150, and just sanded over it, and all the sawdust got in on top of the glue. Sort of, you know, mask it a little bit. Not just necessarily like really mask it, but you get like wood glue together with wood fibers. Very, very strong, people. Very, very strong. God, man. So we're gonna let it set out here in the sun. You know what I'm saying? Let it dry totally. And when that's done, we'll bring it down to the basement. Sand it off again just to get rid of the, you know, the rest of the glue, you know, remnants, any kind of risers that might have happened with, you know what I mean, the water touching the bare wood. You know what I mean? Sand it off final time. Then we'll get to staining. So I'll see you down in the basement once we got the final sanding done and we're ready to stain it. So we're downstairs again. We made a little pedestal. We took 2 old encyclopedias, you know what I mean, put them inside a plastic bag. For all you hipsters that don't know what an encyclopedia is, it's like a big book. I'd say get a big phone book, but I know that doesn't exist either. So get 2 big books or a big block, you know what I mean? Put it in a bag. Put it on top. So what we use this as a stain, man. I got this poly, you know, varnish stain thing all in one. My Colonial dude, man. You know I talk about this guy all the time. Reason I like this, you know what I mean? I know it's an oil-based stain. You should be using like water-based on guitar. But it says real clearly right there, man. You know what I mean? You can use previously stained or varnished surfaces. You know what I'm saying? He's like a friend to old stained stuff. You know what I mean? Some of them don't like him. You know what I mean? You mix some stuff and it's like, hey, man, don't mix me with that guy. I hate him. Colonial dude, man, he's down with the mix, man. He's going to brighten up the mix, make him better. So we're just going to darken this up again, hopefully with all Colonial dude. I got a couple different hues of this one. This is early American, which is kind of like close to like a little darker than this. And I got some darker ones, man. If that one's, you know what I'm saying. I stocked up before this guy was out of style, man. I like Colonial dude. So I'm going to apply it hopefully with a foam brush. See what I can do, man. I'll come back when I'm done with that shit. Yes, folks, after just one coat. That's the beauty of my man, the Colonial dude, man. He's a lot of, you know what I mean, work time. You know what I'm saying? Ease of cleaning it up. You know what I mean? You can guard for runners and stuff. It's not going to be dry by the time you get to the other side of the guitar. You know what I mean? You can really check your work. So, 6 hours is the minimum time between coats. So we're going to wait 6.5 hours, 7 hours, something like that, man. Come down here, give it another coat. Check it out tomorrow morning, possibly. You know what I mean? If it needs a 3rd coat, I think 2 coats would be great. You don't have to wipe it off. You know what I'm saying? You just paint it like paint, man. Anyway, man. Sounds like my wife's making some milkshakes up there. Oh. I got a lot of stuff to do in these next 6 hours. I'll see you then, folks. Remember, Keebler crackers, 2 for $5. On sale now. Peace be with you. There it is, people. Beautiful. Got that nice varnish, half sheen going, man, like a satin sheen, man. Last night before we went to bed, we put a 2nd coat on it. We came down here this morning, and we measured it up against the neck to get the, you know what I mean, get an idea of where our tone is. It's a slightly bit lighter than, you know what I mean, what it should be, but that's good. Another coat, this will be exactly the same color as the neck. However, we're not going to put another coat on. We're going to put on a polyurethane spray that actually has a little bit of yellow in it. Look how old this can is, man. Those people are right out of the late 60s. You see that? This guy's pouring like coffee onto a coffee table to show how strong poly was. It's like poly was new. So old, it doesn't even have a UPC code. This thing, definitely from the late 60s, man. Anyway, man, we're going to peel back this tape here along the side a little bit. We want to get the binding in there. You know what I'm saying? Clean up the binding if any of the stain has gotten on there. You know what I'm saying? Generally, people use lacquer on these guitars. I think it originally was lacquer. But with lacquer, and you have an oil-based stain and varnish underneath it, you gotta wait a long time. Like a month, 2 months for that oil to dry out. And you know what I mean? You put lacquer on top of oil, it'll bubble up, man. It'll crack. It'll look like shit. So we're going to just, you know, stay with this process, man. Oil-based poly on top of, you know, oil-based poly. You know what I'm saying? So we'll peel back this, you know what I mean, to expose just this part of the binding on this side so we get an even sort of, even smooth deal. Then I'll see outside when we're all in the painting process. We're using our old-fashioned poly spray, man. Look, dear, I can pour coffee directly on this coffee table. Oh, wow, Phil. That's great. Why don't you pour it on my head? Okay, you dumb bimbo. Back outside in the beautiful outdoors, we did 3 nice thick coats of poly. Brought it inside, wet sanded it real nice. Came back out here. We're just gonna give it a couple coats of this, man. This stuff I always find out does a great job, man. Hardening up that poly, man. I don't know what's in it, man. Certain chemicals that are just hyperreactive to that poly, man. So we're gonna give it like 2 more coats of this. Wet sanding it between each coat. You know what I'm saying? Do a nice job for the people. 'Cause that's what it's all about. Check it out. See you downstairs. Right, so we're down in the basement the next day. We let the paint set 24 hours, man. Look at that terrible crack. It's just like a fond memory now. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to wet sand the side here. Very lightly, 400 up to like 3,000. All the regular grits, 800, 1,000, 1,500, up to 3,000. And then we're going to take off, you know what I mean, all this stuff. And we're going to take a little bit of steel wool and go around the edge here. Then we're going to, you know, hit it up with 800 up to 3,000, you know, just to smooth it up, you know what I mean, a little bit. So we'll see when we're all wet sanded, you know what I mean, uncovered, unmasked. See that orange peel? Say goodbye to that, people. Say goodbye to Hollywood. Say goodbye, my favorite. There it is, people. All wet sanded, man. All wet sanded up, steel wooled, man. Got the binding all cleaned up, man. But we got some obvious little problems still to work out cosmetically. This is all matte. See the bottom, how it's shiny? See the top, how it's shiny? In the middle, it's all matte. That's not what we want, man. We want all sheeny shininess. Plus on here, there were a couple little places where, you know what I mean, the painting or the stripping kind of, not really too many wrinkles, Bobby G's an expert. A couple places that need to be polished up. So, got the Rubin compound, the polishing compound out. Let's rub one out, man, together. You know what I'm saying? Very careful with this. I mean, this isn't as strong as, you know what I mean, it advertised, you know what I mean? Philip dumping his whole fucking pot of coffee on it. You know what I mean? Not a bright idea. So, lightly with the rubbing compound. A little bit of polishing compound. Try not to get the polishing compound in any kind of, like, you know what I'm saying? Little deficits. And I'll see when we're all sheeny shiny. Reunite to shine, people. Shine box. Alrighty, people. Look at that, man. We're all sheeny shiny on all sides now. We just did that with rubbing and polishing compound. It looks good, man. We fixed all the little, you know what I mean? All the little imperfections around the side as good as we can. You know what I'm saying? Looks great, man. Looks great for now. So let's let this set another day or two. You know, I know this paint is kind of, you know what I mean, fresh. And plus with all that rubbing, we got a little hot again. So let's let it cool down for another day before we do anything else. We still got some maintenance to do. Let's focus our attention on this old neck. Let's get him out on the slab correctable. Or again on our own. Going down the only road we've ever known. Look at this, man. It's got that classic made in the USA truss rod cover. This in itself's worth like 20 bucks on eBay. So it supposedly has a truss rod that's adjustable. I mean, that's not really that bent up. It's got a slight forward bow, but I mean, it's pretty dope aesthetic, man. Let's take this off and let's try to get this truss rod trussing. See you in a minute. Well, we got the truss rod cover off. Well, looks like the truss rod's compromised, definitely, man. It's kind of like if you're a modern person, like, that looks like it's alright, man. Just put an Allen wrench in there. Well, not that easy, my people. It looks like this is not like any kind of Allen wrench deal. It looks like there was some kind of bolt in there, I believe. And the bolt is not there anymore. You know, I'm trying to tighten it. Whatever. Now, if there's not enough threads in there, there's nothing we can do. But I got a bolt. You know, it looks like the right thread sits in there a little bit. When I get it in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to tighten it in there, and use this as like a surrogate truss rod, and then remove it and put the cover back on when we've made our adjustment. Again, the neck isn't really allowed. You know what I'm saying? This is all really experimenting. These kind of guitars, these cheapy guitars you get at the swap meet that are all broken, these are perfect fodder to practice. You know what I'm saying? Practice, practice, practice. If you really want to repair guitars, man. Anyway, man, I'm getting my practice on, people. I'll see if I can do it. If not, you know what I'm saying? We'll just move on with our lives. See you in a minute. I don't know what the deal is with that truss rod, man. I got a little bolt in there and turn it to the right a couple times. I don't think it did anything. We'll just have to tilt it back a little bit when we put it, you know what I mean, back onto the body of the guitar, which I plan to do anyway. So let us focus our attention now to this Brazilian rosewood. Look how beautiful that is. Fretboard. Let's, you know what I mean, give it a nice fret job. Also want to scrub off some of this. See, there's some epoxy on here. My man Skinny Cleveland got epoxy all over here. What a messy, messy, messy job that he did, man. So let's do a nice little fret job on this. See when we're done with that, people. So we got the frets done. Actually, it was in pretty good shape fret-wise, man. You know what I'm saying? Not too much filing to be done. You know what I'm saying? We got the frets down level real quick. We only really had to use the fine-tooth side of the fret file because it wasn't really that bad. But it is kind of dirty still, man. This thing has some deposits front, back, side to side. So let's hit it up with some furniture polish. You know what I'm saying? Some old phony pledge. You can use real pledge if you're so financially endowed, man. We'll get it all cleaned up before we continue with, you know, scrubbing the fretboard and all that stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? Let's clean it off professionally. You know what I'm saying? Then we'll say peace be with you. Okay, peace. There it is, people. It's all clean. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna finally see the majesty of that room, man. Majesty, man. Nice and clean, man. Like how this thing has like all slotted screws. It's like kind of old-timey for 1969. Yeah. Old time gal. So let's do our little what we gotta do, man. I got some mineral grease, also known as mineral oil. Got a little piece of steel whirl here, also known as steel hull. Steel William. We're going to apply a little bit of this grease to this. Take the cap off first. Just smear it in here, man. Get it all greased up. You know what I mean? Get real. See, we already had gotten that. All the old, you know what I mean, epoxy off there. But we want to get it all. You know, see how there's like, you know, dark and light, man. We want to, you know what I mean? Let your soul glow back. Right? So, I'll see you in a minute. If you can wait a minute. Please do. About an hour time, all the mineral oil was seeped in there. That proves exactly how dry this rosewood was, man. So let's wipe it off, get all this schmutz out of here. So some schmutz in there from the steel wool. And then we'll give it a good butcher's waxing just on the rosewood, people. Easy on the rosewood, people. See you in a moment. Yes, the butcher's wax just seals the deal with this beautiful rosewood. Nice and dark. Looking probably better than it did the day it came out the factory in Chicago, man. So what are we going to do now? Look at these tuner buttons, man. Just so filthy dirty. You know what I'm saying? Filthy dirty on both sides. But at least, you know what I'm saying? They're even. And they're not bent. A lot of times you find like these old guitars and one of the tuning keys is bent or one of the bushings is missing. We're okay in that sense. So we're going to take a little piece of magic erase sponge, spray with a little bit of water, just clean these guys off. See you in a moment. Look at that dirt now. In 1 minute, it'll look clean. There. Put it up. Yes, much better, man. It's like this guitar's just been to the dentist, man. Not afraid to smile. We got the old mom's wax out here, the cleaner wax, old cleaner. Let's put that on the back here and a little bit on the headstock. You know what I'm saying? And when we're done doing that, we'll put this back away for a second. Get back to that body. Body time. Get back to the body. And there it is, people. back with the body again. A couple days wiser, a couple days drier. So I pretty much rubbed this out, polished it out on the sides and around here where I did all the painting. Nothing really to clean the body per se. You know what I'm saying? On the actual front of it and the back of it. You know what I'm saying? So let's take our handy dandy furniture polish here. Just polish it up a little bit, man. Spray it front, back, side to side. You know what I'm saying? Wipe that off. Let it dry for about an hour. And we'll be back to talk more tall tales. The telling is in the tailing. Peace. So it's all cleaned off. You know, we got all the foreign matter off. That was, you know what I mean, remainder. It doesn't really look too much different on the camera, but I mean, in person, it's somewhat different. So let's give it some wax, you know what I mean? Let's give it some nice wax. It's not lacquer, so we can kind of wax that side after like 3 or 4 days of painting. You know what I'm saying? I want to wax it now as opposed to when I'm done putting the neck back on, because we're about to manhandle the shit out of it. You know what I'm saying? The wax will somewhat protect it in case we jostle around a little bit. Somewhat. You know what I mean? Somewhat's better than nothing. It doesn't hurt anything. Just keep the wax away from here and all this, because we're about to, you know, address that very shortly. What was I saying, people? Now it's all waxed up, man. Oh, shit. Glossy like a mirror light, man. Look at that, man. So it's time to, you know what I mean, talk about reconstruction, man. The Union was sundered. Now it must be restored. Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. Reunification time, man. Reunited. Now listen to me, man. We got to get all this Loctite over here, man. All this shit. I mean, we want to do bare wood on wood if we could glue anything, you know what I mean, together with wood glue, man. We've got to get all this fucking Loctite and shit off there, man. You know what I'm saying? Because we're about to reconnect, man. So I'll see you when we're down to bare wood. We do have a little bit more whittling and fiddling. But I want to, first things first, I don't want to overload your sensory overdrive. You know what I mean? I'm a peaceful guy, man. Peace, peace, peace. So, we got a lot of that stuff sanded off. A lot of it. You know what I'm saying? Most of it. So much of it, though, man. So much of it. So, the problem really that lies with this guitar is that when Skinny Cleveland reset it, this piece wasn't all the way down. You know what I mean? It's about, I don't know, a little bit over 1/16 of an inch. You know, maybe even 1/8 of an inch, maybe even. You know what I mean? Too high. So when you put this guy in there, I'll just set him in here, just for shits and giggles. We like to shit and we like to giggle. There's going to be like a little, you know what I mean, problem, because it's not all the way sunk down. You know what I'm saying? So there's like a gap here. Now you can glue this down like this. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have a series up bow. You know what I mean? You're going to have this thing here. So I think that's what he did. Right? And then he realized that. So he took the Loctite and he shot it in here. You know what I'm saying? And that's what, you know what I mean? That's what he decided, oh, I'm going to sell this thing at the flea market. You know what I'm saying? So what we have to do is we have to sand this down a little bit here. Take off a little tiny bit of this too, so it goes down all the way, and this part lies flat here, and there's no space. You know what I'm saying? We even want to go even further and maybe even shave off a little bit of this and this. You know what I mean? So it has, you know what I mean, a little tiny bit of a back bow. You know what I mean? Because the forward bow is what's, you know what I mean, killing us. So we got the Dremel here with the sanding bit. You know what I'm saying? The sanding bit looks like it's worse for wear, but we got plenty of top. So we're going to take a little tiny bit of this off, but mostly we're going to work on this. The reason being is that, you know, we don't want it to, you know, Dremel get all crazy and have a seizure and mess up this area right here. This area is a little easier to work on. So we're going to take it down until we have no gap. I'll see you that moment. Okay, folks, so I think I got a good snug sort of fit going here. You know what I'm saying? Once I clamp it up, I think I'll be good. So let's pump in some glue. Put like 3 or 4 clamps on this guy and wait till tomorrow morning. You know what I'm saying? This one takes time, you know what I mean? Time takes time. So I'll see you right before we unclamp it. There we go, man. 24 hours clamped. We got the front. We got this little guy, which we put on last. Little popsicle stick around here so we don't get no clamp marks on the fretboard. Got these two quick clamps here. Holding it down even there. And down the back, we're able to get a pipe clamp all the way on the hole, you know what I mean? Holding it backwards, man. Otherwise, we'd have to weighted it backwards. So we got it in the, you know what I mean, standing upright for about an hour and a half. We actually stood it on these down, you know what I mean, flat, horizontal. But we left it, you know what I mean, drying overnight like this. I had the humidifier up real high. You know what I'm saying? So let's unclamp it, man. Let's unclamp this beautiful thing. Take a look at it. Maybe give it a little bit of wax again. You know what I mean? Do some final cleanliness. And I'll see you back in the laboratory. And we'll also always talk about peace being with us forever. Reconnected, reinvigorated. Look at that, man. It looks great, man. It looks absolutely gorgeous. There's like nothing to even complain about. You know, this instrument is like looking, you know, pretty damn good, man. Remember there was like a huge crack right down here? A big crack going right down here? Look at that, man. Now, the 1230, I tell you, is a very rare instrument. This 1969 model is probably, you know what I mean, the first one. Maybe the earliest extant example. Look at that Harmony logo, that old Harmony logo. Now, bear that in mind when I show you this. Here's an example that's for sale online currently. And you see it's got the modern Harmony logo. But everything else is pretty much the same with the exception of the bridge piece. Let me see if there's a better photograph I can show you. See, here we go with the bridge. It's you see it's screwed down here, people. It's screwed down, man. And the tailpiece is quite bigger than ours. You know what I'm saying? That one looks like it could use a little bit of setting something too. Look, I'm going to set a little bit of mineral oil on this for about an hour. I'm not going to put any wax on top of it because I don't want wax to get on it, you know what I mean? But I'm going to douse this guy up in mineral oil. You know what I'm saying, man? Clean him up. He's looking all ashy, man. You're looking too ashy, man. I'll see you when we're done with that. Beautiful chocolate brown. Beautiful. A little bit of mineral oil, people. So we're pretty much done with this thing, man. It looks gorgeous. You know what I'm saying? All we got to really do now, screw on that tailpiece. So let's talk about the tailpiece real quick. It's a little dirty. We're going to run some steel wool over it. A little pitting on here before we put it back on the instrument. Now this was actually made in Germany by Hofner. The Hofner base, man. How do I know that? Besides the obvious of it looking like a Hofner tailpiece, it says made in Germany right on the back. This is on a lot of the Hofner guitars, man. Anything with a tailpiece had a, you know what I mean, something looking like this, man. You know what I'm saying? Here's a picture of Paul McCartney playing his very Hofner in '93 when I saw him in Philadelphia. See that, man? See that? Do you see it? Do you see it? You know what I'm saying? See it? See it, man? You can't unsee it now, can you? So let's get this guy all assembled, man. I'll see you on the glam shots, man. And then after that, we'll play it, and then we'll say, look after yourself, peace be with you, look after yourself. There it is, man. Every now and then, one of these projects comes through. You know what I mean? An inexpensive guitar from the flea market they revitalize. I'm expecting it to be like a piece of shit, you know what I'm saying? But it actually surprises you. This is an excellent 12 string. This is the best 12 string I ever played, I think. Most of the guitars I've played at 12 strings have been pretty much shitty. especially the ones I've owned. But this one really takes the cake as far as like nice sound and great action. Thank you for the neck reset, Bobby G. Oh, you're welcome, beautiful guitar. Nothing, you know what I mean, out of the true extraordinary. But Skinny Cleveland, you do get the award for the worst amateur luthier of all time, man. Resetting a neck with Loctite foam and crazy glue. Great job, my man. So let's talk a little bit more about the Harmony 12 string, man. This was a particular, guitar was features with the Hofner tailpiece and the floating bridge. It was actually embraced by Pete Townsend. He actually played one of these on Tommy, I believe. There's pictures of him in the studio using a Stella. Looks just like this, only it's got like a square floater. And there are pictures out there of our man Keith Richards, man, the great Keith, man, playing one of these in a writing section with his brother Michael Jagger. You know what I'm saying? This is very, very much like this, only it doesn't have the pickguard and it has a square floater, but I mean the body's the same size. You know what I'm saying, man? It's great, man. So that's all I really have to say, man. Thank you so much for, you know what I mean, being so patient during the 3-part Harmony Extravaganza. You know what I'm saying? It's time to hear it, man. Time to start talking and start walking. Peace be with you. Look after yourself. Peace be with you. So there it is, folks. A rarity, the Harmony H1230. The last blast from the 60s, man. One of the last Harmony guitars ever produced with a floating bridge, man. Think about that. Possibly the earliest existing example of this particular guitar on the planet, people. Hear that? It's beautiful. Ah, that 12 string, beautiful. So I was talking about Keith before, man. It is the evening of the day. I sit and watch the children play. Smiling faces I can see, but not for me. I sit and watch as tears go by. Making Keith, man, wash those hands. You wash them bony old hands, brothers. Love the Stones, man. Here it is, man. The end of the 3-part Harmony Extravaganza. Please, man, wash those hands. Ooh, break that 12 string. Peace be.